Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back with another video, even though it's only been a few days since my last one. And you would think, how can I have something worth making a video about in only a few days? How is that possible? Well, luckily, if you've seen the title of this video, which is something along the lines of I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is I'm basically done with the programming part of this translation. So anything that needs editing in game when it's in like a binary file or something that's really annoying to deal with, um, basically for every type of thing like that, I've got a way to just do it in a text file. And that's taken like a few days of programming now, but I'm pretty much done with that. And now I'm just going through the game with the text file open alongside and just translating things on the fly. So there's been a lot of progress, and at this point, it's just a bunch of translation to the finish line, really. And honestly, I'm over halfway done with this translation. It's only been not even a week, which is kind of crazy. But kind of leads me into bad news. There's some translations that I've had to do by editing textures. And you might notice in the middle of the screen, actually, where it says translation by Tracy Trace, that was definitely not there in the original version of the game, and I'd be very surprised if it was. But, so what was written there originally was Zoids versus 3, but in like katakana. And so I'm like, well, we don't need that as English speakers because we got the huge title that we can read. So I was just going to rub it out, and then I thought, well, I might as well put something there. And I'm like, okay, I'll put translation by Trace there because I think it looks pretty good. Like the gold on the blue, it like goes with the color theme. Anyway, so the bad news with the texture translations is that, well, first of all, people will have to download my custom textures. So that adds to the download size, and it adds a few steps in terms of, you know, prepping it to play. But the main problem is that how do you load those textures into the game? And as far as I know, you can't do that on original hardware. You have to do it on Dolphin. If someone knows of a way to do it on original hardware, that's awesome. I'm still not going to do it because I do play on Dolphin. And I'm sure lots of people mainly play on emulator just because computers are so powerful these days. It's just, you get such a better quality experience, especially in a single player game, playing on a PC anyway. Um, and so yeah, so some other bad news is that like, look, I really like doing this stuff. I really like I fucking love Zoids. Probably one of the only people left on this earth. I'm sure like the Zoids fan base is 90% like late 20s, early 30s people. Like like we're a dying breed, and we're a small community that barely gets anything uh, from um, from whoever owns the IP. But like I do this out of love for the franchise and whatnot, and because I enjoy doing it, because I like translating, because I like programming, and I like practicing those things. Uh, but at the same time, it's kind of sad and demotivating that I've kind of put my thing out there that's like support me on coffee.com, and so far I've only got one $5 donation from one person, which I'm super appreciative of, by the way. I think his name is Vile. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that because without you it would be zero. Um, and I've gotten a few like comments from people saying like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're doing this and all that," and I really like support in that way. But it's just a bit of a downer because I remember getting a whole bunch of donations when I was doing Zoid Saga DS, and that was like, it was like, oh, people are like really finding my work valuable, and it felt really good. And so in the same way that that felt really good, it's a bit of a bummer that, I mean, to begin with, not many people would care, but anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. So let me show you what I've got actually. So if we go into mission mode, first we'll go load game. We won't load a game, but I just want to show you the screen because it's got some texture edits. So if you've ever seen this screen in Japanese, you would know that there is definitely some Japanese supposed to be there. You can kind of see the word farm is it's a little bit scuffed, but I can't spend all day trying to get an amazing Photoshop edit, and I think that's good enough. There is some Japanese that's meant to be there, and for example, on the left of the time where it says 24 minutes 27 seconds, on the left of that there's meant to be like the Japanese word for time, and I'm like, well, I could replace it with the English word time, and it would look bad, or I could just get rid of it entirely, and everyone knows that you know that that means 24 minutes and 27 seconds. You don't need the word time next to it to understand that. And so I thought this looked better. The less I have to write English, the less I'll choose to write English. Just because I'll never get it to look like it belongs there, I don't think. I'm not a very artistic person, and I'm doing this all on my own. So, anyway, let's actually make a new game, and I'm going to shut up because this entire section of dialogue up until the next gameplay section is all translated. And so I'm going to go quiet until the end of it, and you can skip ahead if you want because I'll have time steps. But yeah, we'll just go through this opening scene. Okay, so we'll take the tutorial, and then the stuff that comes up in this tutorial, actually, I'll before that, here's the map info screen. This was such a pain in the ass to program, like a way to easily edit all this stuff, because the formatting was an absolute nightmare. But I managed to do it. You will notice in the very bottom left, it says in Japanese win condition, and then below that it says failure condition. I don't know where those are in the game files. If they're a texture, I haven't found it, and if they're plain text, then still haven't found them. So if I can find them, then I will change them to like win or goal, and then failure or loss or something, because there looks like there's plenty of space to fit a semi-large word. But if I can't figure it out, then I'll just put like win condition, make it to the goal in white. And then, you know, failure condition, time expires in white below that, and we'll just pretend the green bits aren't there. So anyway, because this tutorial is like completely in English and no one's ever seen it in English before, I'm gonna like read out a lot of the stuff. So yeah. So raise tiger, mobility is the name of the mission, and we got mobility tests, be mindful of the time and make full use of your movement options. Exit point, that's your destination. Standing inside the yellow circle will complete the mission. Okay, easy. Basic mobility test, use movement, jumping and dodge steps to make it to the goal in time. Cool. So, let's do it. So yeah, one of the things that was also very difficult is what comes up in just 1 second. This text box. Or this set of text boxes. I had to look really hard to find these in memory. I thought I wasn't going to find them until I did earlier today, thank God. This picture is an edited texture. So this is an example of like if you are playing on original hardware and you can't load textures in, this picture of the GameCube controller with the basic controls, that'll be in Japanese. The bottom part will still be in English because it's not a texture, that's text. So you'll still have all of this, you'll still have these explanations here, but you won't have the accompanying picture being in English. So, you know, move with left stick, jump with B, and C stick is like your directional dodge. This stuff up here is yet still all textures, so start point, exit point. I think I did a pretty good job with that. Good enough to get the job done. Anyways, so, and then I'll do this tutorial. But before I start the tutorial, I want to show you a little glitch that I found. If you face a wall, it's easiest if you face a wall, I guess. And you just keep doing a directional dodge towards the wall, you can just climb it very slowly. And you have to do it with pretty good timing, but you have to be careful not to fall down. But yeah, you can climb it all the way up to the ceiling. I've done it a few times. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so if I pause that where it says goal, I actually made that like pixel by pixel. And then I decided that I'm not going to do that for everything. So that goal looks really nice, I think, but I'm not going to make everything look that nice. How embarrassing would it be if I messed this up right now? Alright, there we go. This is the bit where if you don't understand that the dodge step exists, you'll struggle with this part of the tutorial. I remember I did before I knew Japanese. And then that's it. And that's that mission all done. So, I'm like pretty confident I can have this translation done in like within a couple weeks max, honestly. Because I've been pouring so many hours into this, like 8, 10 hours, 10 hours a day, just because I really, really enjoy it. And I want this game to be in English. So yeah, if you're excited for the game, please show me your support, whether it's monetary or um, like nice comments and stuff like that. Because I read all of them and they all affect my motivation. You know, whenever anyone says, "Hey, great work," I'm looking forward to it. It really does. It makes me want to like um, open up like Windows Visual Studio and keep programming, so that I can um, get my next thing done. Or makes me want to open up my Google Sheet of my script, which by the way will be linked in the description. You can actually go to my script for the game, like what's on screen right now, which says "You really are a pro," blah 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 blah. You can see everything, including that line in the script, and it's a public Google Doc. You can go on there. You can leave comments and whatnot. But yeah, so uh, yeah, that's about it for this video. It was a bit more of a long one, but yeah, I'm really excited to be finished with this because it'd be really nice to have like a cool, finished, basically fully translated product um, for the Zoids community. Because we don't get anything that isn't like Zoids Wild or fucking NFTs nowadays. So anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's not too long before I have more to show you. Okay, see you guys. Peace.